Okay, so now we are successfully able to get the state using three ways: getters, directly state, and then using map, right? And now I want to get my user information that I'm logged in, you are logged in, that is something, or whatever the name user is, right? So at that time, whenever we are visiting the dashboard, we are hitting this endpoint API/user, and if I visit this dashboard, so we are visiting this API/user, right? And returning the response dot data. So basically it's sending a request whenever our component is, we are calling this get method, and then we are calling this in the mounted. So whenever our component is mounted, it's calling this method and sending the request on the API/user, and the API/user is this endpoint, right? API is prefix and then user, and then it's returning the user details. But in this case we are getting the 401 unauthorized error, right? This one message unauthenticated. Why? Because we are not passing the authorization header. What is the authorization header? So we need to pass our token which we generated from the Laravel sanctum. So we need to fulfill the Vue.js request on the authenticated routes. We need to pass the bearer token. So as you know about the bearer token, whenever we are sending our request using the Postman, we pass this in the authorization tab. So how you can pass this in the Vue.js? So you can pass this into the separate Axios request, right? Or maybe you can pass this in your app instances, right? So like we are using this app dot view in all of the components, so I can pass it here, right? So here we are getting this getters, and I want to get this is authenticated state using we can also get this using getters, but I need to define the getters. So let me remain this comment so we can pull the information from there. So let me now here I'm going to give it a save, and nothing is affected and still I'm unauthorized, right? Okay, so whenever I'm getting this is authenticated state, so now I want to get my token, which is we set this in our local storage, and if I see here application contain this token, so I need this token here to pass this as a bearer token. So let's say auth token, I'm calling this auth token, or we can say user token, something like this. It's totally up to you. Return this dot to dollar store, right? Oh my god, store dot to whatever the token, it's a state, the state. We define the token variable. So let me give it a see here. We are set this token, we are getting this token. If it's not set, make this empty, right? And we are also updating our token here. We are setting this in the local storage. Okay, so here I'm getting this token, and then I want to now call this token, right? So I'm getting this token and I want to pass this in my authorization header. So before this, let me test this out, that is it working or not. So mounted, and in the mounted hook, whenever your component is mounted every time, so this will be now called. So I want to call this console.log, and here I want to call this .auth token, right? So let's save this one and see the output here, and we are getting this token here to F2B, and if I go here in my application, F2B, right, same token. So now I'm able to get this token. So I want to set this in my authorization header. So here I can we can check that if we have token like auth token, not the token, it would be the auth token, right? So I want to set this in my authorization. So how I can set this? So I can use this windows.axios, because whenever we are making our request to the server, we are using axios, right? So that's why I'm defining axios, windows.axios, right? And here we need to type defaults, and then we need to type headers, and then common, right? And the common header I want to set the authorization header. Authorization, let's spell it correctly, otherwise it wouldn't work. Authorization. And then what I want to set, I want to set bearer token, right? And to add a space, and then here you want to set your let me add a backticks here. Sorry guys. So here I'm going to say that bearer space and then dollar, and here you can define your whatever the token is. If you store it in the variable, you can call this variable here directly. Okay, so I am calling this token, and whenever I will give it a save, let me verify the syntax. Windows.axios.defaults.headers.common authorization. So whenever I will give it a save, so this will now pass this authorization header into my request. So at that time I'm unauthorized, right? So let's give it a save here and check that still our request is made on the server, but we are unauthorized, right? So let me give it a save here one more time, so may hard reload this again, but at that time it's still returning us unauthenticated. It shouldn't, because we are passing now header, right? So unauthorized. Sometime it's take a few time, maybe it's due to some cache problem, otherwise we are authenticated and it will be work in a minute, right? So I'm checking this token, or here we can also get this alert, maybe sometimes you are getting this, so you can redirect this on the login page here, but at that time checking this, no token found. Save this one, and yes, now I saved this and I got this my logged in user. Why I got this logged in user? Because I'm hitting this here in the dashboard, I'm hitting this API/user and I'm reading this data, and it's sending the request on this server and then getting the response from here. So as I told you, it takes some time, a few seconds to load this. I haven't refreshed the page, I just mounted my component again and it's worked like a charm. So it's wouldn't work, maybe you are thinking that I added this else condition. Oh my god, where I added this? Yeah, maybe thinking that I added this else condition, that's why it's working. No, whenever I'm saving my file, so it's mounting my component. So let's see in the console, let's save this one, and yes, it's mounted this component, and yes, sending the request again, right? So that's why it wouldn't work at the first time, because it's take time to load, it takes time to send the request and then get the response. Maybe my request was cached before and now it's working fine. I'm getting my logged in user detail, and I want to now append this here. Let's say I want to set this into the user here. So before this I define this object. If you are getting it from any of the other component, you can set this as object, but if you are getting this from the your API call or something from the itself console, we can define this as null, right? So here I want to say that this dot user equal response dot data, whatever I'm getting this from the server, and it will fill this user information, and I want to say you are logged in, and here I want to print my user name. So user dot name, save this one, and let's take eye on this. Here I'm getting this header name undefined. Okay, let me see that what I'm getting it here. So let's say console dot log this dot user, save this one, and let's go here, and still cannot read component. Okay, I'm getting an error here, so let me first remove this one to make this execute the code here. Not getting this. So here I'm getting this dot user and then assign this data to this user, but let me console this out. Console dot log this dot user, save this one, and I'm getting the user detail here but null here at that point, right? So why it's setting this null here? I'm setting my variables, passing the value here, it's set properly, and what's the mistake I'm doing here? I set this null, it's correct. Why it's throwing this? I don't know why. Let me do it one more time. Let's just say that's user, so maybe it will return us null something. No, I'm getting this my details, so just say the username, and yes, I'm getting this out. I don't know why it's taking some time to load my data, because you've seen that I did this user.name and it wouldn't work, right? But at that time it's working perfectly without any exception, so I did nothing, right? But sometimes it takes time, so make sure to, whenever, oh my god, I refreshed my web page, I think. Let's get refresh to log in again my user. Here we will also work on this, that whenever a user will not logged in, it will be automatically redirect back to the login page. So I'll work this in a minute. So before this, I'm getting any of the error on this login page. On the login page, let's get refresh. I'm getting any error? No. On the dashboard, I think I'm getting any error. So let's visit this dashboard one more time. And here in the dashboard, so here we need to first make sure that our user is set, so then get its value. So here we can say that if, or I can add a span here, or I don't want to display any of the thing if it isn't set. Oops, if display only when this user is set. So let's get refresh and check that. Hope this error will be gone. Let's go ahead, and yes, it's gone. Okay, I'm going to log in myself again. Login, dashboard disappeared, and yes, I'm displaying that you are logged in the Atniazi. So in this way I can log in. So here I will visit this home. Yes, I visited the home. Yes, go back, and yes, still I'm logged in as the Atniazi. So in this way you can pass the bearer token using the authorization header. So syntax is very pretty much identical. And if you like the video, subscribe the channel and share it with your friends. So in this way you can support me on my mission to shoot the premium courses free of cost. Thank you. Bye.